Hello everyone, I'm here today with a new process video, and as you can see I've got a double page here but a little bit different. On this side I have a 4x8 and on this side I have a more traditional 6x8, and I've laid these out in the pockets where I think I want them. That could change, but for now I think this is what I want, and I have it set up this way because that way this pocket is furthest away from this, because on the left hand side I have a very large area that will have lots of journaling, and it's my only other pocket card or pocket insert. So I feel like having these spaced far apart is probably a good idea. The other thing to note here is that I haven't quite decided what to do with this. I definitely want to use this, but on the other side of that will be this brochure. And a couple of issues here. This is slightly longer than this. Now I did check the inside of this. I can cut it down on either side here and I won't lose any of the information. So I certainly can do that if I want. If I were to leave this outside of the pocket, that's probably what I would do. I would just attach one of these citrus twist strips here, put this over it, and just put it in the album as is. So that is certainly one option. The other option I have is to just keep it the way I had it, where I have a 4x8 insert. It will fit both of these in here on either side and it would be fine. So I do have to figure out that problem, because if I want to use this outside of the pocket, then this must be adhered to the back of this. So there's also that to keep in mind. So it's a little bit of trimming down, it's a little bit of attaching this on the back, all of that. So I'm just not sure, do I want to do all that work to have it outside of the pocket, or do I want to sort of just play it easy and keep it in here? So because I have to solve that dilemma, but I don't want to do it quite yet, I'm just going to leave that over here and I'm going to work on this side for a while instead. So I know I need a card here obviously, and then I need some kind of embellishments because these are lovely but they kind of look very similar. You're just looking at architecture shots. So I need something there. I definitely think I want to highlight this yellow. I love yellow. It's actually one of my favorite colors. I know it's not for everybody, but I love it. And I want to be able to highlight that. So for sure I need a card that has it, and then possibly some embellishments as well. When I went through my New York City specific cards, I actually discovered I have 3 that are yellow. One of them not gonna work because it says Empire State on it. Didn't even go to the Empire State Building, so you know, probably won't use that. And I've been there, but it's been a while. Don't know that I'd care really to go back unless I was with somebody who had never been, but I hang on to it because you never know. But then I feel like either of these two would be acceptable. They both say New York. This one just says, "This city has my heart," which is true. And this one says, "I'm in a New York state of mind." I like them both. This one I feel like maybe would be better served with some city shots or something that's quintessential New York. Whereas this isn't, like, we didn't even know this was here. My friend didn't know and she lives there. She just said, "Oh, we're gonna drive back into the city this way," because we were at the cloisters. And I think there's some monuments around here, you know, holler if you want to stop at anything. So as we were driving, we saw this from the outside and we thought, well, what the heck is that? It's pretty big on the outside. So we pulled over and went up to it and discovered that it's a memorial to Grant. So we went in. But it's not something necessarily quintessential New York. So I'm leaning towards this one. But they're very similar. I do like this one that it has a little bit more black on it, a little more bold. But I could stamp on here. I could bring the black in some other way since I have it over here. So I'm not sure. Leaning this way, but not sure. While I'm thinking about those cards, I decided to go into my embellishments, and I found a couple of things. So I knew I had 2 sets of these pip stickers that were for New York. I'm not sure either of these are appropriate. This definitely has yellow, but it's a very odd color scheme. I like it, but it is odd and it doesn't really work for this. I was hoping one of these yellow things, I couldn't remember what was on here, and I was hoping one of those would work, but not really, because the pigeon, the food cart, the coffee, like, it just doesn't go. So I don't think I'm gonna use those. However, on here, there is just this one that says admit 1, and I'm sure it's meant like for Broadway or for some other touristy thing, but we did have to, I think we had to pay to get in there, maybe a couple bucks or something. I can't remember for sure, but you have to like check in, talk with security. We had to make sure we had masks. Like they were checking all of that. So I feel like, whoops, like maybe I could get away with using that little one. And I like that it's got some sparkly foil on it, because look at this. This is kind of sparkly too when you look at it. So I might be able to incorporate that. And then I pulled out the sticker sheet that I had thrown in there as well. And most of these don't work for this because it's very family oriented, you know, like camping vacation. But there is this one right here that says, check this out. And this yellow doesn't go so well with the cards, but it actually doesn't look bad with the photos. There is a little blue on it. I'd like it better if it were black, but I'm not going to give up on it just because that's blue, because I don't know that it's that noticeable and I might be able to work out something else in here. So these are all options that I have. And then one more thing. I also found this in my little stash of stuff, and I like it. It's a lot of yellow, especially if I go with one of these yellow cards. But if I have the card down here and maybe use this on this photo somewhere, maybe even right here, actually, come to think of it, at the bottom, I think maybe I could get away with that. So I'm gonna play around with some of this stuff and just see what happens. I have decided to go with this card, and I did decide I do want this, so I attached it here. I just need to put the little staple in there. But I do like it at the bottom of that photo. There we go. That's probably all I'll do with that one, so that's pretty easy. I actually don't know that I'll add anything to these either, so this might be it. Well, that leaves me with then figuring out what to do over here, which is the much harder part anyway. I decided to also pull out my phrases and things that I have for arts and museums. Technically, this is a memorial, not a museum, but there might be something in here that I could add somewhere to, maybe even to the top of this card. Over here, maybe like if I use the ticket, maybe it would overlap that. So I'm going to see what's in there. This is not everything that came on the sheet of phrases. I have 2 other sheets, not even cut into yet. So if I don't like something here, maybe there's something on one of the uncut sheets. I don't know, but I just thought maybe there's something of value there. Well, at least one thing I have decided is I am going to keep this outside of the page protector. That's what I decided. And adhere this to the back. Now, at first I thought I should cut this so that they're even, but then I noticed this brochure is pretty much the exact size of the page protector in total. Obviously the slots are slightly smaller to get to that 8, but that works. So maybe I don't need to cut it at all. Maybe I could just take this and attach it. And yeah, you'll see those little borders there. It doesn't really bother me. So I have to think about that. I won't decide until I'm ready to adhere it. So I still have this. I also found something else. I went into all my circular stuff, and this was in there. I have a whole bag of just circles with different things, and found this. It's yellow. It says sightseeing, which is perfect. And I think what I'm actually going to do, I was struggling with where to put it because if I do it up here, it kind of covers up too much. I don't really need place and date because that will be clear by the brochure itself, plus I'll have journaling. I think what I'm going to do is take this and maybe just like do that, just enough to cover that up, cut off a little bit, but you'll still be able to see all of this. It brings in the yellow, it covers up the stuff I don't need. I really like that idea. Before I could change my mind, I did it, and I'm really happy with it. So I'm going to keep that. So then I just have to figure out what else do I want on here. Am I going to use this ticket somehow, sticker thing? And then can I work some of these in there? In the pile of phrases here, I actually found this one, and I really like it because considering the fact like we didn't even know this was there, we did learn new things. It was kind of cool. So I'm thinking about using it and actually putting it on this card because I don't want to cover up anything on the photos. It would still say New York City, but I would cover up this city has my heart, and this is a little too tight edge to edge, but if I cut it like this, love learning new, and then cut off the things and put it below, I could maybe even overlap like that. Or I just realized I could do love learning up top and new things to, oh, nope, that would be too short. That won't work. So it's going to have to be like this, maybe. I don't know. I'll play around with it, but I do like the phrase a lot, and I think it would be better served to have it over here since I have some bigger things over here already. All right, well, when I went to take the phrase that ended up there and put it here, did not like it. I forgot it's kind of wider than I thought, and so when I saw it here, it looked very smushed. So I decided, nope, we'll just do this and leave it alone. Oops, I did add, though, this little asterisk sticker there just to bring in some of the black then instead, since I didn't get it down here. So I did do that. And then over here, I decided, since it was already cut, to just use it here. I don't mind that it, you know, that you see these lines here. I'm fine with that. And actually, I like how this ended up looking with those layered, so I'm totally cool with that. And then I pulled out my little strip here so that I can just adhere these and get this in the book. Okay, so I have this adhered, and I realized after I did this, this card at 4x8 is actually slightly wider than the brochure. So I have this part that sticks out, and it does bother me a little bit that these aren't even. For some reason, I can live with this showing through, but I don't like that. Like, I want this to line up perfectly, so I'm actually going to just take my scissors and trim off this little bit to make it even. I think I forgot to mention before that I decided not to use that sticker after all. When I held it up there, it was just way too much yellow. It was yellow on yellow on yellow, and I don't need all that. So I want a healthy mix of the black and white. So now I have trimmed down this edge, and look at that, it's lovely. It matches. I didn't lose any of the info, which is great. You can still completely open this up and read it all if you want to, and it will still sit nicely in the book. So here is another one finished for New York. Thanks for watching.